Hi everyone, my name is Evan, and today I'm going to be talking about the physics of climate change. When did climate change first emerge as a scientific concept? In 1896, a seminal paper by Swedish scientist Svante Arrhenius first predicted that changes in the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels could substantially alter the surface temperature through the greenhouse effect. In 1938, Guy Callender connected carbon dioxide increases in Earth's atmosphere to global warming. Arrhenius claimed fossil fuels combustion may eventually result in enhanced global warming. 80 years ago, Guy Callender built the first climate change model to predict the effects of greenhouse gases. Callender began connection measurements of the proper gases, the structure of the atmosphere, the sunlight at different latitudes, the use of fossil fuels, the action of ocean currents, the temperature and rainfall in weather stations across the world, and a host of other factors. He came up with a surprising conclusion that people were dumping enough carbon dioxide in the air to raise the world's average temperature. Who coined the term climate change? The term climate change/slash global warming, which describes an increase in the Earth's average temperature due to the greenhouse gas emissions, is widely believed to be coined in 1975 by Columbia University geochemist Wallace Brocker, according to NASA. What is the background to climate change? The warming of our climate is caused by a buildup of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. The gases trap heat by forming a blanket around the Earth, like the glass of a greenhouse. These gases stay these gases stay in the atmosphere for many years. As they build up, the planet's temperature rises. Physics of climate change. Atmospheric concentrations of many gases, primarily carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and hollow carbons, have increased because of human activities. Such gases trap thermal energy within the atmosphere by means of well-known greenhouse effects, leading to global warming. The atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and remained roughly stable for nearly 10,000 years before the abrupt and rapidly accelerating increases in the past 200 years. The terms global warming and climate change are sometimes used interchangeable, but global warming is only one aspect of climate change. What is the difference between global warming and climate change? Global warming refers to the rise in global temperatures due to mainly the increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Climate change refers to the increasing changes in the measures of climate over the long period of time, including precipitation, temperature, and wind patterns. What are the two sides of climate change? One side argues that climate change is caused by human factors, while the other side insists it is occurring because of natural forces. What is the physics behind greenhouse effect? Carbon dioxide and water vapor absorb infrared radiations coming to the Earth and are partly reflected back to Earth's surface. Due to this, the surface of the Earth gets heated up. This phenomenon is called the greenhouse effect. This insulates the surface of the Earth and prevents it from freezing. Greenhouse gases let the sun's light shine into the Earth's surface, but they trap the heat that reflects back up into the atmosphere. In this way, they act like the insulating glass walls of the greenhouse. The greenhouse effect keeps Earth's climate comfortable. How can physics solve environmental issues? Physics also provides a basis of understanding the dynamic interactions between the atmosphere and the oceans, and for the study of short-term weather and long-term climate change. How can physics help to reduce the efforts of climate change? Improvements in energy efficiency contribute directly to environmental quality, and many of these improvements are applications of physics. Lighting efficiency has increased dramatically, progressing through the kerosene lamp to the incandescent bulb to the fluorescent light. Physics is good for understanding natural phenomena such as a hurricane. Hurricanes are among the most powerful of all phenomena and by far the most powerful storms. At its peak, a severe storm may have a total power near 10 watts, about 3,000 times the total electrical power generated in this world. This is equivalent to exploding 500,000 atomic bombs per day. Physics behind the hurricane. Physics provides a basis for understanding the dynamic interactions between the atmosphere, the oceans, and for the study of short-term weather and long-term climate change. This is understanding. The understanding is essential to stewardship in the environment for addressing problems like hurricane. Climate is shaped by how the energy of the sun affects movement of the atmosphere and oceans and how distribute energy around the world. More recently, it has been realized that the ocean and the atmosphere are coupled on much shorter timescales. Where does staggering quality of power come from? Primarily, it comes from condensation of water. The Latin of heat of vaporizes the water is 2.256 kilograms. That is, takes 2.256 million joules of energy to boil 1 kilogram of water. Of course, the reverse is also true. When 1 kilogram of water condenses, 2.256 million joules of energy become available. As the water rises, it cools and condenses, releasing latent heat energy to the surrounding air, causing it to warm further. What are the positive effects of climate change? Studies show that up to a certain point, crops and other plants grow better in the presence of higher carbon dioxide levels and seem to be more drought tolerant. Decrease in winter deaths before the climate change, winters were too cold to handle and the death rate was rising. And more heat energy because of the change in climate conditions and temperature. Heat energy is available in amounts as a result, and energy sources are affordable at comparatively cheaper rates, which brings down the cost of the fuel. The negative effects of climate change. Negative effects of climate change on the different sectors of society are interrelated. Drought can harm food production and human health. Flooding can lead to disease spread and damages to ecosystem and infrastructure. Human health issues can increase mortality, impact food availability, and limit worker productivity. This is a video about the example of climate change. Why does the balloon not break into flame? When water inside the balloon is placed in the flame, the water absorbs most of the heat from the flame. Then the rubber of the balloon does not become very hot. Because the rubber does not become very hot, it does not weaken and the balloon does not break. Water is particularly good absorber of heat. Who is affected by climate change? Climate change may especially impact people who live in areas that are vulnerable to coastal storms, drought, and sea level rise, or people who live in poverty, older adults, and immigrant communities. Extreme temperatures leave many families living in poverty with less food, less clean water, lower incomes, and worsening health. Children's immune systems are still developing, leaving their rapidly growing bodies more sensitive to disease and pollution. Similarly, some types of professions and industries may face considerable challenges from climate change. How does climate change affect the economy? Every year, climate disasters cause human suffering as well as large economic and ecological, ecological damage. Over the past decade, direct damages for such disasters are estimated to add up to $1.3 trillion. How many people are affected by climate change? It is estimated that more than 200 million people worldwide would be displaced by climate emergency by 2050. Climate refugees can already be found in the United States, for example, Hurricane Ian. What can you do to help climate change? You can make your voice be heard by those powers, eat less meat and dairy, cut back on flying, leave the car at home, reduce your energy use and bills, respect and protect green spaces, invest your money responsibly, and cut consumption and waste. The summary is everyone looks at climate change in different contexts. Some people may view it as boring while others think it's important. In the world of climate change, it is one of the biggest discussions. What to do, how to do, who cares to help. These are the constant questions that arise while trying to find the appropriate solutions to this never ending problem. Working together as a collective will foster positive interaction and positive change. I hope everyone enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.